thanks to Jeff Shribman, Marblehead Town Council and Salem attorney, who has generously agreed to act as our moderator again this year. I'd like to introduce our moderator now, Jeff Shribman.
Thank you, Sherry. I appreciate it. We have two candidates running for one 3-year term for the Marblehead Municipal Light. The candidates in alphabetical order are Michael Tumulty and Lisa Wolf. We'll begin with a 2-minute opening statement from each candidate. After opening statements, I'll ask 2 questions of each candidate. They have 2 minutes to answer each question. The questions were written by members of the League of Women Voters and given to the candidates ahead of time. And we'll now hear the opening statement from Ms. Wolf. Lisa.
So I first want to thank the League of Women Voters for this opportunity to address Marblehead voters in this unprecedented time. I'm Lisa Wolf, and I'm running for a seat on the Marblehead Light Commission. I'm a 4th-generation Marbleheader with a master's degree in environmental engineering from Tufts University, and I currently teach high school physics and engineering in Beverly. We're in a unique position in Marblehead because, unlike investor-owned utilities like NSTAR or National Grid, the Marblehead Light Department is municipally owned, and that brings a unique opportunity and responsibility, I believe, to have community input into light department decisions for the long-term benefit of the community. Along those lines, I see 3 main challenges facing our light department. The first is eliminating carbon sources from our energy supply, as the town overwhelmingly voted in favor of in 2018, and which vote was endorsed by the light department. But a goal without a plan is just a wish. To achieve net zero carbon emissions is a huge task, and it can't be accomplished without a strategic plan. The second main challenge I see is addressing the impact of increasing storm frequency and intensity on our grid infrastructure. And the third challenge is planning for a rapidly evolving energy landscape, taking advantage of new clean energy technologies that are coming online, and planning for the increased electrification as users shift from fossil fuels to electricity for electric vehicles and heat. As an environmental engineer and educator, and as someone who spent time coming up to speed on emerging technologies and issues related to electricity generation and supply, I can help the Light Commission to make a plan to address these challenges. Developing a strategic plan will be my top priority. I'd also like to see the Light Department update its business model to be more climate-centered. In addition to providing reliable and cost-effective energy, I would add meeting climate goals to its priorities. And these are not incompatible goals. There are plenty of examples across the state of towns adding resiliency and increasing renewables in the energy mix in a way that lowers costs for customers. As a native Marbleheader, I care deeply about the future health and sustainability of my community. I'm passionate about energy, and I'm excited about the opportunity to be able to bring my expertise to serve Marblehead in this capacity.
Thank you, Lisa. Now your first question. Historically, the Light Department has kept the cost low to customers while providing excellent service. How do you balance this with the long-term goal of addressing climate change? This time we'll begin with Ms. Wolf. Lisa.
Thank you. The Light Department does provide excellent service. For example, thanks to the smart meters installed townwide in 2014, they can quickly identify and respond to power outages. But to continue to provide this level of service will be increasingly more challenging with the inevitably stronger and more frequent storms wrought by climate change. In fact, we're already seeing the impact of climate change. For example, with the back-to-back winter storms that cost the town $1 million in damages in 2018, and that threatened to take out the 2 main feeder lines that bring electricity into town at Lead Mills. In terms of rates, though, Marblehead Light is one of 41 municipal light utilities in the state, and we rank 32nd in rates, higher even than Eversource, one of the 3 investor-owned utilities in town, in Massachusetts. We can do better, specifically by promoting home energy efficiency to lower energy costs for individual households, and by peak shifting. Shifting customer energy use away from peak periods with the costliest, dirtiest fuel has reduced customers' electric rates up to 25% in some towns. We're at a crossroads in terms of addressing climate change. We can continue at a steady as-you-go pace, responding to crises like the 2018 storms as they arise, or we can plan strategically, anticipating and preparing for the challenges we know are ahead of us. Long-term strategic planning will most certainly lead to a more efficient and less costly response in the long run. And I think the Light Department's strategy, going green without going in the red, is a false equivalence. In fact, going green is not optional. It should be part of the department's mission, along with providing cost-effective, reliable energy. The question is, what is the most cost-effective way to transition to clean energy? That's why we need a strategic plan that evaluates and prioritizes the most effective actions and maps out the long-term costs and benefits of addressing climate change.
Now your second question. What kinds of renewable energy would you consider pursuing on behalf of the Light Department? Ms. Wolf, Lisa.
Thank you. So to put this in context, the currently available renewable energy options for electricity production include wind and solar, hydropower, biomass, and tidal energy. We should be pursuing right now an all of the above strategy for reducing our greenhouse gas emissions and evaluate each one in terms of feasibility, in terms of meeting greenhouse gas reduction targets, and in terms of impact on operating budget. Some options like wind and hydro are already important parts of our energy mix, and we should be encouraging MLIC, which coordinates our wholesale power purchases, to prioritize adding more. MWIC responds to the demands of its members, other municipal utilities like ours, so we need to make our clean energy goals clear. Community solar, which refers to the large-scale solar farms and offshore wind as they come online, should also be priority components of our energy mix. And the Light Department is already pursuing development of local solar projects on schools and municipal land, for example, though their study has determined that this can only provide a small percentage of the total electric demand in town. One other immediate action I support is retiring rather than selling the renewable energy credits, or RECs, associated with the Berkshire wind energy that we purchase. While this will increase the cost associated with this portion of our energy, it will mean an immediate increase in the amount of renewable energy we can count in our renewable energy portfolio. And finally, battery storage, of course, is an important component of any future energy initiative since it allows shifting energy use away from the dirtiest, costliest fuel consumed at peak energy periods. The battery storage project currently under consideration is estimated to save the town $2.5 million in avoided costs. This project should be fast-tracked to realize the associated significant cost savings. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. We're now ready for your 2-minute closing statements. What questions do you wish we'd asked? And would you like to add anything? Lisa, you're up.
So we're in the throes of a rapidly evolving energy landscape, which presents some major challenges to utilities like ours. First, while we're currently exempt from state renewable energy requirements, state policy changes are on the horizon, and they will require significantly increasing our renewable energy portfolio. Second, as a coastal community, our grid infrastructure is threatened by the now unavoidable effects of climate change, such as more floods, excessive and prolonged heat, and power outages. And third, the trends toward increased electrification of transportation, i.e. electric vehicles, and of electrification of heating and cooling systems will put new demands on our electric supply. I believe we need a long-term strategic plan to address these challenges and to minimize the cost and disruption to our electric supply. As a town, we need to acknowledge the true cost of our energy decisions and adjust our behaviors accordingly. The Light Department can play an important role in educating our community. As an environmental engineer and educator by trade, I'm confident my experience and expertise will allow me to take a leading role in the long-term planning required to keep Marblehead residents supplied with reliable, low-cost electricity. As a member of the Sustainable Marblehead Clean Energy Policy Group, I believe clean energy is critical to our long-term health and economic future. And as a fourth generation Marbleheader, I care deeply about the sustainable future of my community. I'm passionate about energy. I'm excited about the opportunity to be able to bring my expertise to serve Marblehead in this capacity. Please visit lisawolf2020.com to learn more and to join my campaign. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Remember to vote on June 16th, either in person or by mail.
June 16th, polling places have changed for the June 16th election only. If you live in Precinct 1 and usually vote at the Old Townhouse, you'll vote at Village School. If you live in Precinct 2 and usually vote at the Masonic Lodge, you'll also vote at the Village School. If you live in Precinct 3 and usually vote at the Masonic Lodge, also you'll vote at the Marblehead High School Field House, the gym. If you live in Precinct 4 or 5 and usually vote at the community center, you will also vote at the Marblehead High School Field House. You live in Precinct 6, you'll still vote at the community center. Again, these changes are for the June 16th election only.